All right, get ready to have your minds blown today, because we're diving into a world where nothing is quite as it seems. Animal camouflage and mimicry. You probably think you know a thing or two about this already.
Oh, I bet you do.
Like your classic stick insects or a chameleon blending into the background.
Right, the usual suspects.
But get ready to go way beyond that, because you've sent over some incredible research on this.
Well, you're right to think outside the typical examples, because out there in the wild, evolution has led to some seriously sneaky strategies that creatures use to avoid becoming someone else's lunch.
Or to snag a meal of their own.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're talking way beyond just blending in here.
Absolutely.
You mentioned multiple strategies when we were talking before the show.
Yeah.
What sort of high-level deception are we really talking about here?
So your sources really highlight three main types of mimicry: Batesian, Mullerian, and aggressive.
Okay.
And each one is like a testament to how powerful natural selection can be in shaping creatures to perfectly suit their environments.
Okay, so let's unpack those terms,
Yeah.
because I have to admit, they don't exactly roll off the tongue.
All right, fair enough. Let's start with Batesian mimicry.
Okay.
So think of it like this.
Okay.
You have a harmless fly, totally harmless, but it's evolved to look exactly like a stinging wasp. So the fly benefits from that wasp's kind of like fearsome reputation, and it deters predators even though it can't actually sting.
So it's like a bluff?
Yes.
But a really convincing bluff that works because the predator's probably thinking, better safe than sorry.
Precisely. It's all about sending the right signal.
Right.
Now, Mullerian mimicry, that one's a bit different.
Okay.
This is where you have multiple species, and they're all actually poisonous or distasteful in some way. And they evolve to share very, very similar warning signals, like colors or patterns.
So it's like they're all in cahoots, sending one united message.
Exactly.
Don't even think about it, we're all bad news.
Exactly. It's fascinating.
Wow.
It's a great example of how these shared signals can benefit multiple species.
Right. Fascinating.
And then there's aggressive mimicry, and that's all about deception to catch a meal.
Okay, that one sounds a little ominous.
It can be.
What kind of trickery are we talking about there?
Well, imagine this. The alligator snapping turtle.
Mhm.
Now, this turtle isn't content with just blending into the riverbed. Oh, no.
Okay.
It has a tongue that looks exactly like a wriggling worm.
Wait, are you serious?
I am totally serious. It sits there with its mouth open, and it just wiggles its tongue, enticing fish to come closer, thinking they've found a tasty treat.
Wow.
And then S&P, dinner is served.
That is wild. Talk about a bait and switch.
You said it. It's a classic case of evolution, honed over millennia to be so effective.
Wow. So, okay, you brought up the senses,
Yes.
because it's not just what you see.
Right.
You mentioned that some creatures have even evolved to mimic sounds, scents, and behaviors?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a whole sensory experience designed to deceive.
Exactly.
What kind of sounds are we talking about? I can't imagine an animal mimicking like a car alarm or anything like
Oh,
that.
no. Think more along the lines of the cuckoo bird.
Okay.
It's notorious for laying its eggs in the nests of other birds.
Right.
But it doesn't stop there. Okay.
The cuckoo eggs often mimic the color and patterns of the host bird's eggs.
Whoa.
So the unsuspecting parents then raise the cuckoo chick as their own.
Whoa. It's like a whole soap opera unfolding in a bird's nest.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
It's wild out there.
But smell, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
What could possibly need to mimic a smell to survive?
Ah, you've hit upon another clever example from your research. Think of the death's head hawk moth.
Okay.
Not only does it have those spooky skull-like markings on its body,
Right.
but it can actually infiltrate beehives by mimicking the scent of honeybees.
Wait a minute. It smells like honey to get into the beehive.
It does.
Is it after the honey or is it?
It's there for the honey. It actually drinks the honey completely undetected.
No way.
It's a very bold move, if you ask me. That's some seriously sneaky behavior.
Right.
It seems like these creatures have taken fake it till you make it to a whole other level.
Absolutely.
So we've covered sound and smell. What about mimicking behavior to deceive? Mimicking behavior to trick other animals? I mean, there's some pretty convincing acting happening out there.
Oh, you have no idea. And one of your articles highlights a particularly cunning example, the spider-tailed horned viper.
Okay.
This viper actually has a tail that's shaped like you guessed it, a spider.
Hold on. It has a spider for a tail. You've got to be kidding me. Nature is so weird.
Weird, but incredibly effective. And it's not just the shape. The viper can actually wiggle its tail to mimic the movement of a spider, luring unsuspecting birds and lizards straight into its striking range.
Oh, wow. So it's like a 2-for-1 deal.
Exactly.
Has the camouflage and it has the lure built right in.
Yeah, a master of deception.
That's brilliant. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that camouflage is all about context.
It is.
And some of the research you sent over dives into some pretty diverse environments.
Right.
So, like, what about the rainforest?
Yeah.
With all those crazy colors and patterns, it seems like blending in would be impossible.
You would think so, right. But that's where things get really interesting.
Yep.
The rainforest's just visual richness, it actually fuels even more intricate camouflage.
So like a camouflage arms race. The more vibrant the environment, the more extreme the camouflage.
Exactly. Take the morpho butterfly, for example.
Okay.
Those brilliant blue wings might seem conspicuous.
Or very bright.
But in flight, amidst the dappled sunlight and the shadows of the rainforest, they create what we call disruptive camouflage.
Disruptive camouflage.
Sure.
So it's not actually invisible, it's just dot confusing.
Precisely. The shimmering blue breaks up the butterfly's outline, and that makes it very difficult for predators to track its movement.
Wow. So it's not always about blending in perfectly.
Right.
It's about just creating this visual illusion.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But what about the opposite end of the spectrum? What about camouflage in the Arctic, where everything's white? How hard can it be?
Ah, the Arctic. It might seem like a simple environment to blend into, but it presents its own challenges because of the seasonal change.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
You've got the snow and ice for part of the year, then you've got rocks and vegetation in the summer.
Exactly.
So how do animals adapt to that?
Well, one of your sources talked about the Arctic fox. It has that thick white coat for the winter that's perfect for disappearing into the snow.
Right.
But come summertime, when that snow melts, it molts its white fur and grows a brown or gray coat.
No way. So it's like a quick change artist. Switching outfits to match the scenery.
Precisely.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
So it's not just about having the right camouflage, it's about being able to change with the seasons.
Absolutely.
Speaking of changing, some animals take this whole deception thing to a whole other level.
They do.
You mentioned the spicebush swallowtail caterpillar.
Yes.
Tell me more about that little trickster.
Yes, the spicebush swallowtail caterpillar.
It puts on quite a show, from what I read.
Oh, it does. It does.
Sounds like something straight out of a horror movie.
You're not wrong. When it's threatened, the caterpillar inflates its thorax, and that reveals a pair of large fake eyes.
Oh, wow.
And then, to really sell that performance, it extends this forked, smelly organ from its body, mimicking a snake's tongue.
Yes. So it's going all out.
Oh, absolutely. Why be a tasty caterpillar when you can convince everyone that you're a snake?
Right. Survival of the fittest, or in this case, the most convincing.
Exactly. And even with all these incredible examples that we've talked about, there's one creature that stands out as like the reigning champion of mimicry. The mimic octopus.
Okay, the mimic octopus, I've heard whispers about this creature.
It's legendary.
Like the chameleon of the sea, right?
Think bigger. Imagine being able to not only change your color, but your texture, even your body shape, to resemble other animals. The mimic octopus can do all of that and more.
Seriously? That's like having a whole costume department at your disposal. What kind of transformations are we talking about here?
Oh, we're talking about it impersonating everything from a venomous lionfish to a sea snake to even, and this is my favorite, a floating coconut.
Hold on, a floating coconut. You're messing with me.
I'm not. It tucks in its tentacles, flattens its body, and drifts along with the current, looking for all the world like a harmless piece of debris.
That's incredible. Talk about blending in.
A master of disguise.
But how on earth do these creatures even know what other animals look like? Are they watching nature documentaries when we're not looking?
That's the million-dollar question. Scientists believe that it's a combination of instinct and learning. They're born with this basic repertoire of disguises, but they can actually learn new ones through observation and experience.
That's mind-blowing. So they really are like the method actors of the sea.
Exactly. And it's not just about the visuals either. They mimic the movements and behaviors of these animals too.
So they're not just wearing the costume, they're playing the part.
Precisely. They fully commit to the role, whether it's to avoid becoming someone else's lunch or to secure a meal of their own.
That's incredible. I am truly amazed by the ingenuity of nature.
It's awe-inspiring.
It really makes you wonder, with all these elaborate forms of deception going on in the animal kingdom, what else might we be missing? What other secrets are hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be uncovered? It really makes you realize that we humans, we still don't know everything about the natural world.
We've only just scratched the surface, honestly.
Right. Even with all of our fancy technology and all the research that's being done, nature still has so many mysteries just waiting to be uncovered.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it so fascinating to study.
Well, I am absolutely hooked. This deep dive has opened my eyes to a whole new side of nature I had no idea.
It's a good reminder, isn't it?
It is.
That the more we learn, the more we realize how much more there is out there to discover.
It's true. And honestly, it makes you really appreciate the power of evolution to shape these creatures in such incredible and extraordinary ways.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is. The creativity and the adaptability of life on Earth never ceases to amaze me.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to say a huge thank you to you for joining me on this incredible deep dive today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine, truly.
And to all of you listening out there, I hope that this deep dive has inspired you to take a closer look at the natural world around you, because you never know what incredible examples of mimicry you might just uncover right in your own backyard.
Happy exploring, everyone.
That's it for this deep dive into the amazing world of animal camouflage and mimicry.
Until next time.